Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Real Science Exchange, the pubcast where leading scientists and industry professionals meet over a few drinks to discuss the latest ideas and trends in animal agriculture.
You know, the students coming out of here have a 2-year head start on anybody else that they might run into that's coming out of an animal science, food engineering program, because they just know this business. And it's different. Pet food is different than human food, and it's different than livestock feed. It is the third leg of the food industry stool.
When you talk to the bankers that we work with, look at the milk checks that our clients deal with. You're looking at fat and protein making up, depending on the year and the time of the year, anywhere from 85 to I think upwards of 92, 93% of their milk check.
You know, for me, it's really about the culture of the team.
Yeah.
So I think about this very often, and I think our organization needs to talk about it all the time. And we have to have a culture that's so strong that they would overwhelm a bad actor. Somebody that is either really frustrated at 2 a.m. or somebody that maybe came to the farm with ill intent. And if our culture is strong enough, we should be able to force that behavior out of the organization. And that's what I stay focused on.
Yeah.
The amino acid profile is different. Again, working with Helene and a student of hers, we're accounting for protozoal flow. That's important, especially for lysine, because protozoa have a lot more lysine than bacteria. So we're now attributing microbial protein source as a little bit better source of lysine. So that, of course, affects what you have to compensate for in the RUP fraction. So there's some real nice gains there.
You know, we started with kind of this, there was some direction to it in exploring these medium chain fatty acids and monoglycerides. We've moved on to the flavonoids and found some promising things there. You know, we've just commissioned another series of work with a different class of compounds. So, you know, continuing to explore and bring in those different sources of whether it's these kind of generic mechanisms or more specific mechanisms, as we found with the flavonoid, where there are lots of more discoveries out there, and we hope to keep bringing some of those in, doing what we can to understand them, publish that data as openly as we can, and then hopefully bring new solutions to the livestock market. So this is really just a first chapter for us.
For his legacy, and it's what everybody laid out here, Peter had a tremendous thought process. And it wasn't whether you were right or wrong, it's what did you learn in the process of thinking through all of that, and what could you find for evidence, right? And if you found the evidence, it wouldn't matter if that person said, no way that's ever going to happen. Because if you could think your way through it and say, no, here's how I find the evidence and I can show you this, then by golly, we're learning, and now we're making change.
I think still there is opportunity with DCAT. 100 or 50 or 75, we used almost zero DCAT, which definitely decreased negatively affect the production. But if we can have 50 or 75, if that doesn't affect production much, or no production negative effect on production, but if we can increase volume of urine with that low pH, urine with a low pH, then we have more opportunity to reduce ammonia emission.
Hello, everyone. Scott Sorrell here, coming to you from the American Dairy Science Association meetings here in Kansas City. We've been interviewing students, some very bright and talented students, and our next one's no exception. A newly minted doctor, Dr. Henry Holdorf from the University of Wisconsin is with us today. Welcome to the Real Science Exchange, Henry.
Thanks for having me on, Scott.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here today. I think we can all agree that heat stress can have a devastating impact on our animals as well as our pocketbook. And the one thing, that my key takeaway from Dr. Flammenbaum is that it's completely possible to mitigate the impact of heat. And so, there's some steps we've got to take, but I'm certainly enthusiastic about that. So Also wants to thank our loyal listeners for once again spending some time with us here at the pub. And we hope to see you next time here at the Real Science Exchange, where it's always happy hour and you're always among friends.